If you're like me and you spend more time on Facebook Ads Manager than with your own family at times, you might have noticed that sometimes you launch ads and they just tank after a few days. What I'm saying is, you might have seen you launched an ad, it worked great, got you great results, solid CPA or cost per lead in the first 1, 2, or 3 days, and in day 4, suddenly no results. And in day 5, no more results. Day 6, same thing. And you're wondering, why is that? I got great results for the first few days. Shouldn't that have continued? If that sounds anything close to something that has happened to you in the past, well, I want to show you why that is and how to make sure to get around this issue that you might have faced. So, if you're new to the channel, you don't yet know who I am. My name is Justin Lalonde, and I'm the founder at pitadvertising.com, where on the one hand, we help businesses implement a scalable ad engine, and on the other, we grow e-com and info businesses to multi-7 figures with paid ads. With that being said, we've profitably spent and advised on over $15 million in ad spend in the last 12 months alone, and let's get straight into today's video. So I got a very ugly graphic, but that says it all right here. So this is the situation that I describe in today's intro. Okay, so day 0, you just launch your ads right here. Then by day 1 or 2 or 3, whatever, you start getting some good results, and then you hit a plateau around day 5. It kind of keeps on going around day 6, 7, and then 8, 9, 10, just keeps on dropping, and then 2 weeks in, you're just left with literally 0 results, okay? Your ads are not working anymore, and you're basically just left spending all the money that you made in the first few days now is gone because you've spent it as a loss in the last few days of this ad's shelf life, okay? Now, why is this happening? What is the logic right here? Well, I want to give you a few different reasons as to why this is happening, okay? The first one is the following, okay? When you launch Facebook ads, and I'm just going to draw a very ugly funnel once again right here. When you launch Facebook ads, Facebook goes after this audience, the start. What do I mean by that? You could say this is your TOF, then MOF. It's a very ugly F. Let me just do a bar. And then BOF right here, okay? Facebook goes after this audience first. Whoever is the warmest, the type of people that they've liked your page before but have never bought yet. They have seen your ads before, they're close to buying, and they just haven't had the right time to do it yet. We're talking about the people who might have seen a lot of your competitors' ads, and they're like super warm because of your competitors. And so you just happen to be at the right time, right place on their feed, and they just end up converting from you. Those are the people that Facebook go after first. Why? There's 2 reasons why they do that. The reason number 1, Facebook is a business, okay? What does that mean? They want you to keep coming back and spending more money with their business. So if they give you a quick hit of dopamine from the get-go, you're more likely to come back and spend more money on the platform, okay? If you're trying to, as an example, go into the gym and you do not see results within the first couple of days, you are going to abandon going to the gym, which is why personal trainers usually engineer some form of training plan that is really going to get you a lot of super rapid results. And then you might have a plateau down the line, but they know you're more likely to stick because you've now seen that you can get results. So they've just hooked you. Same thing with Meta. Now, the second thing, which is a little more of a logical reason as to why this is happening, it's your pixel, okay? Now, Meta here, you're telling Meta, as an example, to go for a purchase, or let's say a lead, right? Or a call, or whatever the optimization event you are going for. So Meta categorizes people into buckets, okay? They have people tagged on Meta that are belonging to a bucket of a certain action. There are specific Facebook users which are more likely to purchase. There are specific Facebook users who are more likely to become a lead. Specific users who are more likely to book in a call. Meta will try and find you more people that are more likely to do said event. And so, you might know that Meta has something called the learning phase, right? So learning phase. Well, the learning phase on Meta equals this. You got to have 50 conversions in 7 days. And so how do you get 50 conversions in 7 days? And why do you need to get this? Meta needs to get 50 conversions in 7 days in order to get out of said learning phase and to really have enough data points to know who to go after to show your ads to, okay? Now, is it not to say that if you're not going to get 50 conversions or if you're not getting out of learning, Meta is not going to be able to find you people? No. But they're less likely to be able to give you the best possible costs of advertising. And so to speed up this learning phase, if I go back to what I showed you earlier, Meta is more likely to go after people who are warmer because these people are more likely to convert, which are then more likely to be a part of these 50 conversions. And the faster you get those, the faster Meta gets out of learning and the more results they can give you, which is why I'm saying this is a pixel thing, okay? The more your pixel learns quicker, the better your campaign results are. But the thing is, this gives you a false sense of reality. You think that your ads are doing great because they're only being showed to a warm audience. But the reality sets in a few days after launching the ads. Because what happens is you have plenty of people in your warm audience, depending on your budget, right? On day 1 or day 2 or day 3 or day 4, day 5. The more you spend, the quicker this time frame is, okay? If you're spending a lot of money, then this whole curve that I drew earlier might just end up crashing at like day 4, okay? And it might be the exact same event, just happening on a shorter time frame. So what happens is Meta is just going to run out of a warm audience. And so they're actually going to go towards like a less aware audience as time goes on. And so what I'm saying here is these funnel stages that I have right here. So like as an example, unaware, then I would have problem aware, then I would have solution aware, then I would have product aware, then I would have most aware, okay? They correspond essentially to the awareness or stages, if you want, that I shared earlier, okay? So with that being said, what Meta kind of forces itself to do is if it runs out of people here, then it has to go up in awareness level, or less aware is what I'm saying. So people become less and less aware. So if the ad that you launched right here was something along the lines of like, buy now, right? Hey, here's my ecom product. You can get a 15% off discount today. Shop now, right? Which is how 90% of people do their ads. Well, this is for a very small audience, okay? This is for like anybody who's like super warm and like ready to buy. So most people are not ready to pounce right now and just buy your product right away. So it's not going to work, right? Same thing for a info product business as an example, who's like, hey, here's my offer. I'm going to guarantee you X amount of leads in X amount of days. Booking a call right now. Well, that too is like a very offer-driven ad, which is a really product and most aware type of advertising. Only so many people are ready to take action right now. So Meta is then going to start showing your ad that is pretty much designed for a product and most aware audience to people who are problem or solution aware or even unaware. And so there's a mismatch now in your message and the type of people that Meta is showing your ad to because you've run out of people here. And this can happen again, either on a shorter or longer time horizon, depending on how much money you're spending and also depending on the amount of people in each of these phases in your market, okay? So that's reason number 1 as to why this is happening. Ad work great at the start, was super relevant for a bottom of funnel market, and then just end up going down afterwards. So that's reason number 1. Now, reason number 2 is you might have actually done an ad that you're like, no, Justin, like I legit made an ad, which I strongly believe is a problem or solution aware ad. It should be more scalable. Like it is meant for a wider market. So I don't see why this should have crashed. Well, first of all, this same thing happens, okay? This ad, although you made it for a problem or solution aware audience, Meta probably showed it to a more bottom of funnel audience at the start to get you your events in order to get you out of learning, which gave you a false sense that this ad was working, and then it stops working. But now you're like, well, Justin, why does it stop working if it's of a less aware awareness level? Aren't there supposed to be more people here? So isn't that supposed to be really scalable and take me to another level? Well, the answer might then depend on your mass market desire. So what do I mean by that? Let me write this down right here. And this is horrible writing, but mass market desire. So that is essentially the overall message in your ad creative. So a great example I like to give all the time is, let's say I want to feel more confident as a woman living in a high altitude climate. This is super narrow, okay? Super, super, super narrow. Now, if I run an ad that is, let's say, problem aware or even unaware, super top of funnel in positioning, but with the mass market desire where I'm trying to target a persona living in a high altitude climate who wants to feel more confident in their own skin, chances are I don't have a lot of people in this audience, okay? Or not a lot of people can relate with this. Most people wake up in the morning not thinking that, man, yeah, true, it's because I live at 3,000 feet of altitude that I now need to take care of my skin. They don't see the connection. It's like most people cannot even relate with that because they don't live in a high altitude climate. And so therefore, if I'm trying to scale this as an ad in all of the US, well, what might be happening is same thing this year, okay? I have a great positioning. My positioning is not the problem. But the thing is, there's a small amount of people who end up like reacting to this. There's a few people out there in the US who are like, you know what? Like, man, this is exactly me. Like, I live in a high altitude climate and I don't feel confident. Wow, I'm going to buy. I buy. And then Meta runs out of these people because there's like barely anybody that ends up relating with this desire. And this is a super like specific example, okay? And I've probably given a very emphasized example to show you how or when this happens. But then if I simply now change my ad to woman wanting to feel more confident in their own skin, now that is for pretty much a very big portion of women, at least in the US. And now if I have a less awareness level, so which means I have a bigger audience and I have a broader or a more mass market desire, chances are I'm going to have an easier time scaling. Now, is scale guaranteed? Probably not. Why? Well, there's another thing that could be impacting. Now, does that mean that after showing you these two cases that scale now is guaranteed? No. Okay. Now, what these two things do, focusing on these two variables, will make sure that you're not going to get just a dip like that a couple days after launching the ads. Okay. But it might mean that the ad is just going to launch and then just not really going to get good results and kind of coast at a super low ROAS. Okay. So now, if your ad is not really getting good results at all, even after fixing and working hard on these two things, then it's probably a combination of your angle. Okay, so how you're actually like, okay, again, a woman wanting to feel more confident. There's a gazillion ways to do this. I could do a get ready with me type of framework in my ad. I could also show a woman being complimented by her husband about how glowing her skin looks like, or a woman on a night out just looking like she's shining and absolutely, radiant on a night out, right? So a lot of ways in which I could show that. So it could be your angle. It could also be your actual website now or offer that's not really converting or other things like that. But that typically won't cause a peak followed by then a downfall. It'll literally just cause like just kind of a plateau or bad results overall. But really, I'm really specifically making this video about people who see good results in the first few days and then ad just tanks after. It usually is because of one of these two things. Okay, so if you focus on one of these two, you'll end up being able to turn this effect or results around and actually see consistency usually in your results. So if you made it all the way through this video and you are an e-commerce brand or info product business wanting to work with a paid ads partner on Meta, Google, or TikTok, check out the first link in the description down below to book in a call with myself and the team at paidadvertising.com today. And on that note, if you want to have access to me, text me anytime you want to have me review your offer, funnel, ads, name it, and get 2 one-on-one calls with me monthly, amongst also seeing my SOPs and everything that I use to run ads. Then check out a second link in the description down below to join my Ad Engine one-on-one inner circle. On that note, I'm going to be wishing you an amazing day. Check out other videos on the channel for some more useful e-commerce and info product marketing tips, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.